Good morning, good day. Welcome everyone to the 10th webinar in our series. With something slightly different today, we are going to move ahead and we're going to talk about some different subjects today. So I'm going to put up my presentation now and show that, that's grand. And today's conversation is about intelligent charter party performance, so NavFleet. Now, we've had some discussions about NavFleet in the past, but this is an in-depth look with some subject matter experts, and hopefully that'll give much greater detail out to everyone. So moving forward, just to have a look at what we're going to do today, I'm going to take you through to the agenda. So firstly, really welcome to everyone. My name is Richard Northover. I run the UK operation of NAVTOR. Thank you for joining us today. We really do value the time you give us. And the aim of our webinars is to spread knowledge and make sure that everyone sees real value in the NAVTOR products they have or they're looking to have on board and ashore. So the agenda for today is a welcome message from Børge Hetland. We're going to talk about NavFleet itself with Arild, and we're going to move through to NavFleet performance with Jacob, who's going to take us through into greater detail. And of course, then we go into a question and answer session. So housekeeping for our platform here. This is 23 is our platform we're using. And you can see at the top right-hand corner, we have a question section. Please feel free to put questions at any point during the webinar. We may try and answer some of them in the text function, but more than likely we'll bring them up in the Q&A and actually do a dedicated question and answer session at the end, which means everyone's involved in good questioning. So we really do value this element of the webinars. At the bottom, you can see there's a chat function. Again, please feel free to use that. You'll see just below the question section, there is a handout, and the handout today is the links to all of the previous webinars. What's going to happen is post this webinar, we will email everyone with a copy of the technical data that we're displaying today. So as a thank you very much for attending today. Do remember that the best experience with 23 is gained by using Google Chrome. So let's move on and now introduce Børge Hetland, who's going to give us a welcome message. So over to you, Børge.
Thank you, Richard. Hello, everyone, and thanks a lot for attending this webinar as well. We have had, as Richard mentioned, 10 now, and we have had a lot of good feedback on this webinar. So we will aim to continue with these webinars, even though the world go back to normal and we can be able to travel again and to meet you face-to-face in even your office or at exhibitions. I would also like to use this opportunity to say thanks to all of you who have completed the customer survey we sent out last week. And if any of you have not completed it yet, we would appreciate if you could do, because this gives us valuable feedback to check if we are on track and if there is any important feedback you would like to give us. So again, thanks for filling that out. As you know, NAVTOR's slogan had always been e-navigation made easy, and we have been known as an e-navigation company. But with the acquisition of TRES back in February this year, we went into a new business area, vessel performance. And the feedback we have got from our customers since then have been tremendous. So we are also grateful for all the, let's say, interest we have got, and all of you have started to subscribe to the vessel performance products and analytics. What we experience is that our customers would like to reduce fuel, they would like to reduce emissions, they would like to simplify workload on board. This is an extremely important point. They would like to improve operational efficiencies, and they also would like to be compliant. But even more, they would like to reduce the daily running costs and to become, let's say, to increase the bottom line. And to be able to achieve all this, I think one of the most important thing is to have facts. You need to base all the decisions and all the analyzing on the right numbers. And maybe this is one of the most strongest point of our performance product. It's all based on facts. So as you know, we cannot take good decisions if we're not if it's not based on facts. So this is basically what NavFleet is all about. And in NavFleet, there is a lot of different modules, a lot of different functions, and it will be impossible to cover all that in one webinar. So that's why we have split it up. And today's webinar will be mainly about how we can, or how NavFleet can help you to improve charter party performance. So I hope you will find this valuable and interesting. And of course, if you would like to know more about these products after this webinar, please reach out to your area sales manager or your point of contact in NAVTOR. So again, thanks a lot for attending, and back to you, Richard.
For that kind welcome, and thank you everyone again for your time. So I'm going to bring up my presentation very briefly, and I'm going to go into something slightly different. So we usually talk about, as Børge said, the e-navigation side of our business. But I'd like to talk today about our business areas, full stop. So we've developed our business now, and the elements of our business are as this. So what we have seen is our e-navigation side, very strong. We've done lots of webinars about it, lots of engagement. That's what we're known for. Moving forward, Navalytics is a product running down the line where we're utilizing data to provide further insights to clients. The OEM side of our business, the software development kit, the SDK, is where we've developed an ECDIS kernel. And this is where we work with maritime organizations, fully compliant with ECDIS standards, to produce the kernel within a large proportion of the ECDIS everyone sees out in the marketplace today. And finally, certainly not least, is performance. Performance, the newest element to our business areas, is what we're primarily discussing today. This moves us forward to what we like to call total ship operations. So what I'd like to do is hand over and pass over now to Arild. Arild is going to discuss NavFleet. He's the Chief Development Officer of NavFleet, so he's going to take us through that element. Over to you, Arild.
Thank you, Richard, and welcome to everyone around the world for joining us this morning or evening, dependent on where you are. I will say something about NavFleet, what it actually does for you, what kind of benefits NavFleet will provide to you as a user, and also focus a little bit on the charter party in NavFleet, and also leaving it over to Jacob to go into the depth of the charter party tools we have in the NavFleet performance. So I have a few slides before I jump into the NavFleet portal and show you the details there. Okay. NavFleet is our total operations platform, which will basically help you to consolidate the workflows across the organization. So in the NavFleet and also in the rest of our products, you will have tools to do planning. Let's say on board we have the nav station, which we have covered in previously webinars, with many different features for voyage planning, weather routing, and also now we have the activation of passages. So you automatically transfer the passage plan to the NavFleet in the office for monitoring. When it comes to the execution phase of the workflows, we have also, of course, we have the nav station for monitoring on board, but we also have the NavFleet for monitoring in office. So we can use NavFleet both for voyage monitoring, for navigational safety, and also for vessel performance, but also for charter party performance, which we will cover here today. So the combination of our onboard products and the office products will increase, let's say, the total situational awareness. We have automated tasks which will simplify your daily efforts in keeping track of, let's say, notifications for deviations, whether it's for navigational safety, off-track operational limits, or performance-related, such as charter party limits, emissions, or consumptions related to vessel performance. For compliance, which is something everyone needs to have control of, we have in our portfolio of products, we cover compliance on board also in Office, through NavStation, through NavTracker, through NavFleet. So compliance is handled in all our applications, whether it's regarding the voyage plans, ENCs, publications, or others related to, let's say, the ongoing industry regulations and other requirements, such as the MRV or DCS. And now also the carbon intensity indicator, which is becoming more and more, let's say, important to have track of. So NAVTOR and also NavFleet will implement the tools for AER and also CII, so you can keep track of the ratings of your vessels and fleet. So you will have better tools to take better decisions related to this and also improve the ratings, for instance. So what does NavFleet mean for you? NavFleet Performance is basically a vessel reporting and optimization platform that will help you to understand and also improve the fleet performance of your vessels. Our system has a high proven return of investment. We have a lot of customers using our services with high reduction of fuel costs and increased profit. We will also help you to improve the operational efficiency by giving you better insights in one single platform. And that will, of course, improve transparency, speed, and reliability in how you make your decisions. We will help you simplify your daily workflows, as Børge mentioned earlier, because some of the tasks in the systems are automated. In addition, you will also have our dedicated team of experts who actually look at the data for you and also contact the vessels directly to follow up. So you can use the time to other things. And also, again, as Børge mentioned, you need facts. Our approach to validation of the data ensure that you have the best available data to make better decisions. So NavFleet will give you an improved data quality. So the total, let's say, products portfolio we have, let's say, a combination of NavStation on board and also NavFleet, it will definitely help you to reduce fuel consumptions and costs. I will jump into the NavFleet portal and show you a few things related to charter party compliance. For charter party compliance in NavFleet, we have tools. We have dashboards such as this one, and that will instantly give you a very good overview of the charter party performance status. How many vessels are actually performing? How many vessels are, let's say, under weather impact? Just by a click, I can get the list here of the vessels that are under weather impact, and I can also go into the more details in NavFleet to find more information. So this window will give you the current charter party performance. You will see all the limits displayed in this window and also the deviations. So the limits are in light gray and the actual numbers are in different colors. So white, everything is more or less okay. If it's orange, I'm outside my charter party limits. When it comes to showing the weather limits, I can also visualize this very easily and see how it's affecting the rest of my voyage here. So if it's white, everything is fine. If it's orange, I'm outside the charter party limits. If it's red, I'm outside the operational limits of the vessel. I can also go here and look at the remaining passages and see if I'm complying when it comes to the weather limits, the charter party limits, and also the operational limits. So I can see here, and also the timestamp for when I'm not within the limits. And the same goes for wave heights, for instance. So you will find, let's say, tools here to handle the current passage, but also go back in history, of course, and have details about the charter party compliance and performance. So I think I'll leave it with this one. We have, of course, many different tools as well in NavFleet that will help you get a better overview of the performance of your vessel. But I think I'll leave the floor back to you, Richards, and Jacob can go into the details of how we handle the vessel performance and charter party compliance.
Thank you very much, Arild. That was very good. Okay, I'm going to continue on now. I'm going to bring up the presentation very briefly. So my next introduction is Jacob Clausen, who is the Managing Director of NAVTOR Denmark, and he's going to take us through NavFleet performance. This is really, as Arild was alluding to, is vessel-specific modeling, flexible reporting, dual-layered data validations, and insight-driven analytics. So over to you, Jacob, and take us through the exciting world of NavFleet performance.
Thank you very much, Richard. I'll go through some of the key challenges for vessel owners and charters when they are trying to monitor, evaluate the charter party performance, and give you specific examples about how we handle this in NavFleet. So one of the common challenges that we hear from our customers is to have a fleet-wide overview of which are the vessels that are not performing according to the defined charter party. So this is something that we address in our system now, and I'll come into that in a bit. The second thing is to understand the vessel's good weather performance. So how are they actually performing in what is defined as the good weather of the charter party? So each charter party clause may have different definitions for what is good weather, have different performance warranties, which make it somewhat complicated to evaluate each and individual vessels operating on different contracts. The third thing I'll go through is how you can make timely corrections. So everybody want to make timely corrections to avoid that they face a claim or there's a dispute at the end of the voyage. So it's better to intervene at an earlier stage, and we have facilities to how we can actually do this within NavFleet and making those changes in time. The last thing that we would be covering is the voyage analysis. So either during the sea passage, you want to know how is my voyage evaluation going? Am I going to face a claim at the end of the voyage? And how is it actually evaluated according to the defined warranties and good weather definitions? And I'll just briefly go through sort of what solutions we have in place for this. So for the fleet-wide overview, we have fleet dashboards that provide you an overview of the fleet's performance at a glance, and also provide you detailed insights to the individual vessel's performance by a click of a button. The second thing is the good weather definition. So we have a detailed input of the charter party good weather definitions, the performance warranties, and speed and consumptions, which is automatically handled by the system. So as it's defined for a given period, you can basically go into the dashboards and have the voyage evaluation done automatically, taking into account the individual charter party conditions. The third part is the timely corrections. So we have set up a set of automated notifications, which enable you to get notified when the speed or consumption is deviating from what is defined in the charter party. And the fourth point regarding voyage analysis, we have a voyage analysis module, which help you to evaluate the voyage, both ongoing voyages and also post-voyage, according to the predefined charter party, or from a drop-down list of standard charter parties. So I'll just jump into the NavFleet platform and provide you a little bit more details on how these solutions look in reality. So what we're looking at here in NavFleet is the fleet performance dashboard, which consists of a number of different metrics, including charter party consumption deviation. So this provides you with a traffic light color system, an overview of vessels that are in average deviating, are within the charter party, or start to deviate that you should be monitoring, and the ones that are within. And you can get a detailed breakdown on the individual reports, which days that have excess consumption, which days that are considered as bad weather according to the charter party definitions, and which reports or days that are within charter party and within good weather. And what we track is the average performance, which is typically how charter party is defined, is that you are given a certain allowance, and we can then easily monitor this on an ongoing basis, irrespective of the voyages. Similar we have for the charter party speed deviation. We can show that in a similar fashion, where we can see which are vessels in track, which are the vessels that should be monitored. So we can see that some of these should be, you could say, are close to, so they are, you could say, still within these 5% allowance, which is typically the definition, and we see one vessel that is, you could say, outside the range. And again, here we can also get a detailed picture of how the vessel's speed is deviating from the charter party instructed speed. So the next thing is, how do we define this charter party conditions in the first place? So if we go to the vessel settings of a particular vessel, we have a set of different charter parties over time. So you can define the start and end date, specify the name or the charter, and input the performance evaluation, what is the good weather definition, and any performance allowances given in the charter party. Under the warranted performance, there's also typically a definition of speed and consumption, either for specific consumers or as totals. And these can simply be uploaded, so you can extract a CSV file, input your data, and upload again. So it's very easy to input the performance warranties into the system. This is automatically used by the system to look up what is the weather according to third-party weather data. And then it's basically categorizing each report interval with consumption within that period, if that is within good weather, if it's complying with the charter party definitions, and if there's any excess. And when it comes to, say, being notified within the system, it's also possible to set up personalized email notifications. So there's a large set of different performance deviations that you could get notified on, including notifications relating to the charter party speed and consumption. So it could be that you want to be notified for a specific vessel or all the vessels in the fleet. And you can decide which vessels I want to receive notification on and for which email it should be received. And then you would basically get an email stating what deviations are. And it could look something like what I'm showing here, where we have one vessel exceeding the charter party consumption for a specified report interval, and all the details of that period is also you can say defined within that message, and highlighting on top what was the performance deviation causing this to be triggered. The last thing I would like to cover is the voyage analysis. So I'll go back to the analytics and into our voyage analysis module. And here we can see a list of different voyages, and we see an overview of the fleet's operational profile. Within a given voyage analysis, we get an overview of the vessel's good weather performance. So the average good weather speed and consumption against the charter party consumption for the same period, even considering that there may have been different speed instructions. So here you can see in a summarized fashion if you're going to face any claims at the end of the voyage. You would also be able to track that for individual days, so you can see which are the days that causes excess. And this can be tracked both when the voyage is ongoing as well as at the end of the voyage. So you don't have to wait till the end of the voyage to actually see the results to date. We have similar for individual if you have your main engine consumption and also the performance speed. And the performance speed is, of course, what is defined within the charter party good weather clauses. Another feature that mentioned earlier is that we look up the defined charter party for this specific vessel at a defined period, but you can also choose to select to see, I would rather see this analyzed for a different good weather definition. So if you're about to fix a vessel, you can actually see the last voyage analyzed under a different good weather definition that you maybe need to fix it at. And you can see here what would be the consequences if I carried out that same voyage under a different good weather definition. So that can be, of course, a very powerful tool. We have a lot of other tools too in the fixture process that we can cover on the separate webinar or meeting. So that brings me back to a sort of conclusion on my session. So the conclusion here is that through NavFleet we can provide insights of the fleet's charter party performance. We can evaluate how vessels are performing under good weather definition. We can enable timely corrections in the management of the vessels and provide detailed analysis of individual voyages. And this all in all empower owners and charters to take control of effectively managing the vessel's charter party performance and compliance. And this is my last words here. I'll hand it over to Richard again. Thanks.
Thank you, Jacob. That's very kind, very detailed explanation. I'd like to bring up my presentation again very briefly, and we'll go through some summaries of what we've seen today. So really what Arild was going through was the total ship operations and simplified workflows that NavFleet enables for vessels and shore. NavFleet performance, which is the element that Jacob went through, really enhances transparency and improves decision-making. This gives everyone full control of the charter party performance and the compliance, right back to what we were discussing right at the beginning. So thank you very much for being with us to go through NavFleet. I'll take you on to what we're planning to show next. We have a plan to have the next webinar on the 27th of October even. And the next topic is digital logbooks.